SGA once again. Little hesitation. The left hand. What a move by SGA.
Another block.
Chet Holmgren, the long arm of the law.
In the game. These are key minutes without SGA. And another drive. J. Dom cocks it back and throws it down.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, May 11th, after the Thunder have won Game 4. But don't ask Thunder fans. They're still in hell. 92-87. We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and our really good friends over at Prairie Artisan Ales. Justin slamming a fourth quarter live on the pod.
Aptly drinking a fourth quarter tonight. It felt right, given the game we witnessed.
I love it. Well, we have Justin on the podcast, as you just heard.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, I might need that clip. We got JD Silva.
Hello.
We have Taylor Peterson.
What a game. Excited to break this one down.
We got folks in the live chat saying they are at the airport right now waiting for the Thunder flight to get in. If you are at the airport tuning in, one of two options. A, turn the volume all the way up and hold your iPhone up in the air so people can hear. Or B, tell everybody to tune into the pod while they wait for the airplane. We will provide them high-quality entertainment.
I'm sure it'll be really easy to hear off of your phone speaker outside.
Did I say who I was? I'm Jacob Niffen.
Are you, though?
Are you?
The chat disagrees. We've got, for those listening in podcast form, we have Jacob Niffen rocking the headband and the Caruso jersey today. He's gone full Caruso this evening.
What do you do?
You got to after that
Sometimes
one.
you just have to do it.
He's a dog.
Got to do it to him. You can follow us on our social media channels. Sub to the YouTube page. That would be cool. Sign up for the Patreon. That would also be cool. Drop us a super chat. That would also be cool. Gentlemen,
our moods are really so much better than they could have been.
there's a lot to talk
This
about.
pod could have been very, very bad.
Be a cap spot right
Yeah.
now.
The Thunder tie up the series 2-2, are coming back to Oklahoma City for Game 5 on Tuesday, and what is essentially now a 3-game series with 2 games at home. Thunder win today 92-87, and what I described as a rock fight between 2 blind men. I think that's about as close as we could get.
My analogy in the Discord today was 2 people beating each other with a fish.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know that it is, but it felt right.
What kind of fish?
Like a big, like
Talking
at,
big old
at the
bass.
fish market. Yeah,
Big
like
old bass.
2 guys going at it at the fish market was the picture in my head when both teams were
Going at
shooting
it.
like 3.5%.
2 guys
first
going at a
quarter.
fish in the market.
2
I
guys,
think
one fish.
I tweeted this was a pants shitting competition on Twitter. On Twitter.
All accurate. I think
All
that
accurate.
sums it all up. Unbelievable.
I'm still
Good
thinking about the
pause.
fish.
Pour one out for the fish.
Pour one out for the
Smooth
fish.
ass if it's the same fish. I was picturing 2 fishes, like they got in a verbal
fishes.
disagreement at like the Seattle fish market and they each grabbed a fish. Anyway, we should talk about this game.
Thunder win 92-87 in a really interesting basketball game. The first quarter was just like, I don't know. It was 17-8.
It was an ugly baby contest. In the first quarter.
17-8 in the first quarter.
17-8. The Thunder shot 27% from the floor, while the Nuggets shot 9%.
There you go.
9 single digits.
Nine.
Lowest combined points. Lowest combined points ever in a playoff quarter.
Yep.
Bad. Real bad.
Some overall stats. The Thunder shoot 35.6% to the Nuggets 31.3%. Both teams, I find this interesting. Both teams shot 24.4% from 3. Thunder 10 of 41, Nuggets 11 of 45. Over half the Nuggets shots came from 3. Free throws were the big one, boys. Nuggets took 36. Thunder took 26. Thunder got to 26 after the Nuggets fouled had to foul to get the ball back 3 times. So before that, it was 20-36.
Crazy.
Both teams missed 10 free throws. Also crazy.
Thunder out-rebounded the Nuggets 55-49, beat them on the offensive glass, beat them in assists, tied in steals. Denver actually had more blocks, 14-14 in the turnover battle, which is interesting, but the Thunder scored 10 more points off of those turnovers. Points in the paint was 30-20 because nobody freaking scored in this basketball game. It's just... Here's my takeaway, and we can jump into a lot of different things here. We got on this podcast on Friday, and people had the shotgun in their mouth, the noose around their neck, the pills mixed with the wine, the toaster in the bathtub,
Yikes.
the razor at their wrists,
Fork in the outlet.
with hose going from the exhaust to the window. I can't think of any other ways to kill yourself right now.
That's probably good, actually.
I think you covered it.
People were losing it Friday because the Thunder lost a really competitive game where the Nuggets outperformed them down the stretch. We could argue at the end of the day, an Aaron Gordon 3 is what essentially put it into overtime. 2 Aaron Gordon 3s are what kept this from being 3-0. The Thunder came out today, and in the fourth quarter, when it was time to execute, when it got tight down the stretch, the Thunder made the plays to win the basketball game. And I think most significantly, they made those plays on the defensive end, completely shut down Denver, even when Denver started to get hot in the second half, and close this one out with a little bit of offense, some making free throws down the stretch, not during the run of game, the run of play, but down the stretch. New closing lineup. There's a lot of stuff to dive into, but I think this was a good wash the bad taste out of your mouth. This was a good prove something game to be able to have an ugly baby rock fight where you're swinging at the rocks with fish, and you come out on top. Justin, what are some of your big thoughts?
Man, it's hard to know exactly where to start in this one. But because I'm drinking a fourth quarter, and you just brought it up, that feels like the place to go. Coming into this game, the story of clutch time in this series had been the Nuggets championship pedigree showing, and the Thunder's lack of experience. Coming down the stretch in this game, Oklahoma City was on the ropes. They were down 8 early in the fourth. Felt like a season-defining moment at that point, right? As much as many had already written off the series after Game 3, if you go down 3-1, that's tough. That's a rare air to come back from. Oklahoma City was on the ropes, and they responded. And they responded with Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Aaron Wiggins doing the work on both ends. They responded with, like you said, Jacob, making their free throws down the stretch, closing things out defensively, all things that we didn't see happen in Game 1 and Game 3. So, like, progress within a series and adjustments within a series, that's what the playoffs are all about. And I think a lot of the frustration that Thunder fans have had in Game 1 and Game 3 is not seeing those adjustments. We saw it today. Oklahoma City adjusted, the players adjusted, Mark Daignault adjusted, and that's the reason why the Thunder have tied the series 2-2 and are not looking up at a 1-3 deficit.
Correct. To your guys' point, something you all mentioned was the fourth quarter for the Thunder. The Thunder outscored the Nuggets 29-18 in the fourth. And like you mentioned, Justin, the big three, not the big three we expected tonight, but the big three of Caruso, Wiggins, and Wallace were plus 12 on the floor together when they were playing. Mark mentioned post-game, the quick turnaround from, I think it was like 36 hours between that, just another grind of a game 3 to the 2:30 tip-off today. In fact, I think Chet was being interviewed about it after the first quarter and mentioned, this is as close of a back-to-back, as close of a Sega Baba as you can get in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true.
It absolutely showed that, like we mentioned, that first quarter. And just in general, I think, what was it? The Thunder and Nuggets combined for the worst shooting half in the playoffs and combined for the worst playoff shooting performance in 21 years.
That first quarter, the Nuggets hit 1 field goal. One field goal. Yeah, they scored 8 points, but they hit one field goal.
Yep.
In the second quarter, they started to heat up a little bit, but not really. It was 6. They made 6 field goals in the second quarter. Still scored 28 points. Jacob, to your point about free throws, 6 field goals made in the second quarter, 28 points. If not for the free throws, I mean, they're dead in the water.
And that's why I wasn't feeling very good heading into the fourth quarter.
Agreed.
Because yet again, it was yet another game. I think I tweeted this out where it felt like the Thunder should have been up 20 plus points.
100, yes.
And if you get the regular season Thunder, then you probably are up 20 plus points. Kind of like game 2.
I think flip side of the coin, though, like Nuggets fans are absolutely saying they should have won this game, and they should have been up 15 to 20 at some point in this game as well.
Right.
If you're a Nuggets fan and you get a bad J-Dub game and a subpar Shai game, you have to think you win that. You have to think you win that. And
you get the calls that you're getting.
And you get all the calls.
On both ends of the floor.
On both ends. Yeah, it was I was just, my dread meter was just increasing steadily all throughout the game. And it was capped off by a sideline shot of Jamal Murray hit a huge 3. And then the camera zooms in on him and he's pumping up the crowd. He's like, come on. And I'm like, oh no, it's over. I'm like,
this
so
is
over.
it. That's the moment.
I was just staring the mortality of the season in the face at that point. It's like, this is it. Like, this has been such a pretty, smooth season filled with dominant wins and not a lot of muck. But this game, they had to get in the mud and win. And I was like, this is the young team. Everyone's like, can they do it? They've never been they've never won a difficult playoff series. They haven't yet. Like, it's just not on their resume. And this is kind of, I think Royce Young tweeted, like, this is the perfect test, this fourth quarter.
Gut check.
I didn't know who was going to step up. I was hoping it'd be the 3 stars of the team, but it ended up being the effort.
Thunder's depth. Right.
That's why you have that depth.
Yes.
Yep. And they didn't show up in previous games. And I think, Jacob Taylor and I talked about this after the game 3 podcast. One, this is how you earn your stripes. If you're a championship team, this is what championship teams do. Not saying the Thunder are a championship team because they won today, but these are the types of wins you have to have if you're a championship team. And the Thunder haven't really done that yet. They're going to have to keep doing it because they still have to win 2 more games, and they're not going to be easy. So they're going to have to continue to earn their stripes, but that is how you get the championship pedigree that the Nuggets have demonstrated. 2 is, we talked about the role players. The role players were abysmal in game 3, and if you want to win on the road, your role players have to step up in some form or fashion. That's why the Nuggets won game 1. Yeah, Jokic was awesome, but their role players contributed to that win in Oklahoma City. Tonight, that's exactly what happened. Credit to Daigneault for changing things up. I feel like that was the other big criticism coming out of game 3 that we had, was that it just didn't feel like Daigneault was changing a lot. I'm sure there were small adjustments that got overlooked, but there wasn't like the big flashy like lineup change or the big rotation change. That happened tonight. That start of the fourth quarter, that was a deviation from the typical rotations that he's done.
Well, in the sorry, not to catch up, but the first half too, with Shai sitting with like 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
That's a great point too. It started in the first half.
Shai and Chet get subbed out.
Yep.
I have this somewhere for Caruso and Wiggins.
Yep.
Which is very interesting. Then Shai comes back in towards the end of the first quarter. Definitely a big tweak there. Yep. And then obviously the big one, like you're getting to, Justin, and sorry, Jacob, but like Caruso starting instead of Lou Dort, who has been abysmal.
You mean closing?
Or closing. Sorry, not starting. Lou's been awful. He's struggling. And look, Jamal didn't have like a great game by any means. I think some of that's probably due to Lou Dort not defending him quite as much, and Alex Caruso being on him, as well as Cason. Can't wait to get into Cason as well. But Lou is really struggling navigating screens like we've never really seen from him before, on top of his poor shooting, which I think eventually will come back around. Yeah. But defensively, what he really hangs his hat on, to use the inside joke we talked about tonight, holds his hat like we talked about 2 nights ago. Lou's really struggling on that, in my opinion.
I was going to give you credit for something you said on Friday night, but Adam beat me to it. Adam with the super chat. Taylor was right about Wiggins, offense versus defense. Grateful for the win, but I don't recognize this team at times. SGA threes are basically turnovers. Yikes. But the first part, let's focus on the first part. Taylor mentioned that he thought Aaron Wiggins should get more burn And he did. And it was a positive experience all around.
Which seems to happen when you play Wiggins more. That being said, to your guys' counter argument, Jacob and Justin, from 2 nights ago when we were talking, I thought Wiggins competed much better defensively tonight. I keep saying today, which is why he was able to stay on the floor. Just as a unit, that unit really worked well together, and Wiggins held up his end of the bargain.
2 other quick super chats before we dive back in. One, our guy Skelton said, "Here's my money. Fix the offense and decision making." And then
I'm on it, Skelton.
Ant-Man says, "Giannis or title, we can't lose." He's already hedging his bets.
Yeah, I want to jump on. You complimented Mark, Justin, and I think he's learning throughout this series too. He hasn't had to coach a series like this. This series, I was thinking about this after the game. This series, like the Mavericks series last year, it was so easy to see why they lost. It's like they had one playable center, and the role players went off for the Mavs. This series is different. They've lost in a number of different ways, and more complicated ways, I think. And you can tell it's been hard on the players and the coaching staff. And J-Dub even said it in the postgame. He's like, we are a completely different team now than we were at the beginning of this series. And they keep saying, like, they wanted to play the Nuggets because they're going to bring out the best of this team. And I think they're slowly doing that. And part of that is realizing which players cannot play in the series. Weirdly, Isaiah Joe can't play in the series. He's just bad. He's bad when he goes out there. And Lou Dort, I think, is slowly turning that way too.
What was it tonight? Joe had 7. I keep saying tonight. Today, Joe had 7 minutes and 3 minutes, I think, game 3.
Yeah. So when you going back to the lineups and whatnot, I thought that Caruso very much should have closed the game. He did close the game. I thought Caruso was awesome. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but he was just
says the man dressed as Alex.
Yes. and here's the thing.
But you're right.
Here's the thing with Lou is like Lou is a good shooter. Has he been a good shooter in this series? No. He is a good shooter. Very large sample sizes show us that Lou is a good shooter.
Mark kind of said as much in his post-game comments.
Yeah. The thing is, when Lou isn't hitting, there's not a ton of other offensive things he can provide you. He's primarily spacing to the corner.
Yep.
Whereas Caruso and Cason can both handle the ball a little bit. They can both get downhill and finish. I
think that was
better
massive.
passers.
Yep. They can cut off and move off ball, which we talked about after game 3.
Yeah, I think all of that kind of plays a role in why Lou didn't close today.
I agree.
And it's not like that's okay. Now they're going to close with Caruso every game. Tuesday night, it might be Lou back in the closing lineup. It very, very, very much could be. But I commend Mark for finding what was working and then writing it out.
Yep.
And
I agree.
And Alex is a guy that he's been there before. He knows the moment. You can trust him. And I thought he was great down the stretch. He was getting steals. He was on the floor. He's battling. Like he's doing all the things that you need him to do.
Frustrating Jokic.
Yeah. Right. Frustrating Jokic. We saw the huge offense rebound he had in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
I think after another Shai miss. It had the steal, was it on Murray, where he kind of dove on the floor and it looked like he hurt his wrist. Led to a fast break opportunity. Actually he got fouled, but still like that got the Thunder back into the bonus. Like just so many of the little things. And I think you nailed it, Jacob. He's been there before. I was talking to my buddy Hank. Shout out Hank. Actually sent me 2 pretty good stats. Hopefully I can bring them up on the
Hank
pod.
the cow dog.
Hank the cow. That's a good throwback.
My head went to Hank Hill.
Hank,
that boy ain't right.
Whoa.
But
Huggy.
He mentioned
Bobby.
Stop. He mentioned this.
Damn it, Bill.
You have all the King of the Hill references.
Jacob's a one-man King of the Hill soundboard right now.
Lady Bird.
100%. We need to rip some of these. These are great. He
John
mentioned this.
Red Corn. I'm done.
He mentioned this may not be a Dort and Isaiah Joe series, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay. They may have huge series next series if you're able to advance, but you have to go with who's playing the best, what's working against this specific team in the playoffs, and that's what happened today when Mark went with Caruso. Honestly, I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Chet had a lot of rebounds, he but didn't really have a good game. and we saw the single big line offensively. And I think it was Justin who mentioned in the Discord the single big lineup there in the second half.
Yeah,
with either of iHeart or Chet, like it seemed to be much more effective. I was listening to Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo, which I shouldn't have done after the game. But they mentioned like Cason was playing so well and J-Dub was struggling so much. Maybe you take J-Dub off the floor, and they completely missed it. But I think they're on the right track. Maybe you take Chet off the floor and go with the single big with iHeart.
And
for Cason.
So the context around that, Chet got elbowed in the head by Hartenstein, came off the floor. They ran single big for a little bit, and they had kind of started to make a run with Caruso and Cason and Wiggins right before that. But it kept going when Chet went off the floor. And then when they brought Chet back in, they took Hart off. And I thought that was really interesting because they really haven't done a ton of single big in this series. They have really favored that Chet Hartenstein lineup together. And I think it made me think back to a lot of our discussion about it during the season. Obviously, like statistically was really great during the season. The two of them together, like Oklahoma City was a juggernaut most of the season when they both played. But the one like knock against it is sometimes it felt like the Thunder's offense got stuck in the mud, and their defense also struggled to close out on shooters. Is there any way you would describe this series differently than their offense is getting stuck in the mud and sometimes struggling to close out on shooters? Like that kind of clicked for me when it was a very short burst and they went back to the double big later in the game. So it wasn't like it was this new wrinkle we had thrown out there, but it'd be interesting to see if Chet getting elbowed in the head is like an eye opener for anyone on the coaching staff, as far as like, do we see any more of the single big in game 5 than we've seen in the first 4 games? I think there's something to it in terms of how Oklahoma City can use its speed a little bit differently when they don't have the two bigs. It also opens up, I think, offensively.
Agreed.
More of a perimeter threat, which was the biggest challenge. Not to ramble on here, but like the zone defense, they were giving Denver exactly what they wanted by just farting around on the perimeter and then taking a shot that was open, but like not great. When they had more successes when they were using penetration to actually get them out of position a little bit and find a better shot. That's easier to do in the single big lineup.
To your point, Justin, Cason was 3 of 3 from 3 on a night where the Thunder shot where the Thunder shot only 24.4% from 3.
You really got to penetrate to get them out of position.
And you got to get ball movement. That's the only way you can get it in the hole.
Oh my God. I was talking about how Mark, like it was great that Mark had the balls to like not play certain guys down the stretch. Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe.
Stop.
On the other side of that coin, damn, were the big three not that good. Like SGA was fine, but the decision making, I am shocked by some of the late game decision making. J-Dub was 2 of 13 after being the best player on Friday. Chet obviously had some offensive struggles. I'm just like, what the hell is going on with Jay? I have asked myself, because like every star in the playoffs this postseason has had some fraudulent ass games. Like Halliburton is like, oh, he's amazing, and then he scores 4 points. Jokic has had a pretty bad series. Tatum has had a bad series. So that there is some comfort in that. It's like if everyone's fraudulent, maybe no one's fraudulent.
I think it's less about being fraudulent and more just when these teams have a chance to really sit down and game plan, defenses can just load up and absolutely take away your number one option. Like, people want to just say like, oh, Shai's playing bad. But when you really get down into it, they like have somebody on Shai. And then instead of guarding the guy in the corner, they're pulling someone over the lane, pulling somebody else up to the free throw line. So Shai gets past guy 1, and guy 2 and 3 are there to collapse. That's why I thought the shots today that they were taking were generally good shots. I mean, Dort's getting wide open threes. Isaiah Joe's getting wide open threes. J-Dub's getting wide open threes because Denver is just sinking everybody into the paint to cut off the drives.
Which, funny enough,
hit the open shots. Like they're kind of playing the same way against each other.
Yep.
But
it's similar to what
go ahead.
I was going to say it's similar to what Oklahoma City did against Dallas in the playoffs last year, where they said, we're not going to let Luka do what he wants to do. We're going to make everyone else beat you. And they did. Denver's employing the same strategy. Oklahoma City's just having a harder time making the others beat them.
For sure. So And I think the big difference is Isaiah Joe took 3 threes. You want him shooting those. Cason Wallace took 3. Chet took 3. Jalen Williams took 5. Those are all good shooters. Meanwhile, the Thunder had Russell Westbrook shoot 9 threes tonight. Peyton Watson took 2 threes tonight. Christian Brown took 9 threes tonight. Like, that is exactly who you want shooting the ball. If you lose to Russell Westbrook shooting 9 3-pointers and making them, you just lose to that.
Yep.
That is exact. Like, you're not shutting everybody down in the NBA, all right? This isn't junior high basketball. Like, these guys are incredibly good. What you do is you try to lower the percentage as much as you can. And Russ shooting a 3-pointer on a late closeout is a much lower percentage shot than Jamal Murray shooting an off the dribble 3 coming around a Jokic screen, right? I think the Thunder are making the Nuggets shoot the shots that the Thunder want them to take. I think for the most part, the Thunder are getting shots that the Thunder want to take. It's just that the ball's not going through the hoop sometimes.
True.
But even with that, sometimes, I know, it's the majority of the time. Even with that, they closed out a close game, guys. And it came down to fourth quarter execution. And it came down to just being freaking terrorists on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, I thought Isaiah Hartenstein was phenomenal tonight on Jokic.
Yep. I agree. We haven't hit. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was going to mention the MVP matchup. I liked what Silva said about Shai. I liked what Jacob had to say about Shai, and it sparked some thoughts. But let's go ahead and get to a super chat.
I was going to say, we haven't talked about the biggest adjustment of all yet. On Friday night, our guy Dave said, he forgot to hit us with the super chat after game 2. And that's why we lost game 3. He got us one after game 3. We won game 4. He's back. He's doing his part. He says, feel free to donate if you want to see your favorite OKC team win. It's working. I promise. Game 5, here we come.
You heard him.
Love it.
It's not me pushing it.
It's Dave.
It's Dave. We had another super chat.
We're taking donations.
We did? I don't think we did.
Yep.
We got another one from Adam. Those threes have to fall eventually. Hanks for the show. I'm hoping that's an intentional pun.
Bobby, those threes got to fall eventually. Thanks for the show.
I was much more impressed with closing out the game, like the clutch minutes, which we didn't see much of this season at all. I was very, very, very impressed with the defense in the clutch, more so than I was the offense. The offense was just like, please God, someone hit a 3 in the corner, and that did happen a lot of times. Yeah. Or Shai put up some bullshit, which he did do, but the defense was like as good as I've ever seen it.
Yeah, the defense was incredible. I thought some of the offense was good, JD. Like, I thought Shai had multiple times where he would attack the middle of that 2-3 zone.
Yep.
And then was kicking out to guys who were shooting and just missing.
Yeah.
He had one where he attacked the middle of, I think off a Caruso screen, came down the middle of the zone and immediately swung it out to J-Dub, who just caught it on the move, went straight to the rim for that layup. I thought Shai got off the ball well today. He ended up taking how many shots? Shai took 19. The spread of shots was 19, 13, 10, 10, 7, 8, 7, 7, 4. Like, I think that's a pretty good balance of what you want from this team.
Yep.
And I thought Shai did a good job of getting off the ball.
So Shai's who I wanted to touch on next for the super chats. And one thing you mentioned, Silva, was some of the struggles. And then Jacob, you mentioned the second layer of the Nuggets defense that Shai is running into. I kind of thought we got the best and the worst of Shai in that fourth quarter. The best being the playmaking, like we talked about. He had one of his signature turnaround jump shots in the mid-range that he drilled. Also had a huge three, or actually he didn't make a 3. I think it was like a long 2. But we also saw Shai take a bunch of ill-advised 3-point shots, hold on to the ball too long, the shot clock, getting double or triple teamed when he's driving into that zone. He got, I don't want to say bailed out because it was a foul, but he got lucky because Russell Westbrook fouled him, and that got him to the line. Shai's definitely getting frustrated. And the Nuggets are doing a fantastic job defending him. And I think the biggest thing there is like that second line of defenders, like I just mentioned, seems like Shai's just really anticipating that. But it's interesting. I saw somebody mention this on Twitter. I apologize. I can't remember who it was. But somebody said that the Nuggets seem to be taking away Shai's scoring and trying to make him play make, where the Thunder are taking away Jokic's playmaking and wanting him to just try and score. And I thought that was pretty spot on. Over the last 3 games, the Thunder have held Jokic to 5.3. Well, has forced Jokic into 5.3 turnovers per game, only 5 assists, and he's 33 and 18% shooting.
Nice.
That's
Do you guys ever think
Really
about how Taylor could be like the next Billy Mays? Because he always like hits you with something. And he goes, but wait, there's
wait,
more.
there's
more.
That's how he hooks you.
That's right. Hook, line, and sinker.
I agree, Taylor. That's when Silva, I think you said it, where it started to feel like too familiar down the clutch. Shai was going like blinders ISO mode again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And thankfully he didn't stay that way.
Yeah.
The Thunder moved away from it and were able to spread the ball around. I thought this offense, Jacob, you said it well. When the offense was succeeding in plan of attack, but just missing shots, it's because they were moving around and attacking the zone. It was that middle of the game, mostly in the third, where it started to feel like everyone's just standing around and they're just taking turns going ISO ball. And it was so frustrating to see them fall back into that after the way that game 3 went. To me, looking at game 5, that's the key. They have to stay disciplined on offense. If Denver wants to sit in the zone, you have to make them work. The number of possessions that OKC came down the floor, nobody moved, and then maybe 1 or 2 passes, like 2 max. A lot of times it was 0 passes, just taking like an early shot clock.
Almost.
It was close. Early shot clock attempt just lets the Nuggets off the hook. We've talked so much about like the Nuggets being gassed and not having the depth. If you come down the floor and they just have to stand still for 5 seconds and then go rebound, that's making it so easy on them that they don't have to expend any effort or energy. That kind of stuff can't happen if the Thunder want to win game 5. You have to make Denver work on the defensive end of the floor. You have to make them go late into the shot clock. You have to make them move around. You have to get them out of position. Otherwise, you're making it easy for them.
I think that's why I hated Lou Dort's minutes so much, Justin, and his shot attempts, because I would describe Lou Dort's offensive game tonight as complacent. He would just he would get a pass when they were trying to break down the zone and immediately put it up. He would not look for anything else. He's like, well, shit, I'm taking this.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey guys, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit a few of these comments in the chat because they're funny. Keep the King of the Hill themed ones flowing, boys. I really enjoy that. Silva, after I read each of these comments, you're gonna hit us with a sounder, just whichever one you feel like is appropriate.
Okay.
We're then going to look ahead to game 5 real quick. We're gonna do some trivia. We're going to look at our predictions so far, which are in the garbage. For the entire NBA, and then we'll get out of here. Silva, you queued up and ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. First one, David Skelton, super chat says defense made up for poor offense a lot this year.
I think that's fair. The offensive numbers were
Sounder
often
did not work.
statistics, Holmes.
There it is.
I was double
There it
clicking.
is. The offense was often padded by transition offense, I think, scoring wise, and that's slowed down quite a bit in this playoff series, so it makes sense.
Next one. Hold on. Michael B says the margin of victory was as narrow as Hank's urethra.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Not Hank, though. Nick Jordan says OKC had a Boomhauer motivational speech before coming into this game.
Now watch this drive.
Nick says Taylor is stat sheet Billy Mays.
Bucks.
Nick also said choking on them Nuggets. Pause.
The old rack.
David Back says, enough in English, Bobby. You speak English. Throw some mayo on that glizzy. Justin can read this one.
No, I'm not going to read that.
Justin can read this one.
No, stop making fun of me. I said clock.
Adam said, spell it, tough guy. I think he's referring to Justin and what's going on with his shot. And then I'm not sorry. I ain't reading all the rest of those.
Ooh. Hey, one thing we didn't do though. Donnie mentioned it. King of the Prairie.
King of the Prairie.
King of the Prairie. Why we get King of the Prairie pulled up? Carrie Cicero says, I think Jokic's brothers sell cocaine and cocaine accessories.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. I love the King of the Hill fandom. King of the Prairie, brought to you by Prairie Artisan Ales, makes such fine beers like this fourth quarter. Not just when Oklahoma City took over the game. It is a lemon lime Gatorade flavored sour, and it is delightful. I think legally I'm not allowed to call it a Gatorade flavored sour, but it is a lemon lime sports drink flavored sour that is delightful. Make sure you hit up Prairie for Game 5 if you're not making it out to the Paycom Center, or if you are and you want to grab some beers before that late 8:30 tip. They have $3 pours of beers such as Fourth Quarter, Buzzer Beater, and Shay's Secret Stuff. Good grief.
Secret stuff.
All day on Thunder game days.
JD, who is your King of the Prairie?
This is probably not one you would expect, but it is one that back in January, I tweeted, I think this guy could swing a playoff game for the Thunder. That is Aaron Wiggins. Didn't talk about him much, but he was responsible for a gigantic momentum swing in the third quarter, along with Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso. Aaron Wiggins is my nominee.
Justin, who is your King of the Prairie?
I think it's Alex Caruso for me. Caruso is such a tone setter. Anytime he steps on the floor, we've talked about wanting to see him play more minutes. 28 minutes tonight is some healthy burn for Caruso. I would not be surprised to see him get that many minutes, if not more, in Game 5.
Taylor, who is your King of the Prairie?
I also had Caruso. I think Silver brings up a really good point with Wiggins, but just Caruso's impact and then him being able to close the game like he did. We talked about the huge offensive rebounds, some of the deflections. He had 0 steals and 0 blocks. And yeah, I thought he was incredibly impactful defensively. And he only had, I say only, he had only 2 3-point attempts. Both of them were huge. He was 2 of 5 from 3, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Caruso just did a little bit of everything. I thought he closed the game really well.
Nice. I will go Cason Wallace, 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And I thought was just phenomenal on Jamal Murray tonight, who was only 5 of 15, 17 points on 15 shots. But just like the rest of the Nuggets, lived at the free throw line. I would also like to make another nominee for King of the Prairie. Russell Westbrook.
Oh, boy.
2 of 12 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 6 fouls, and a -20.
King of the Prairie himself, Russell Westbrook, living up to the name. Guys, I don't know if we're talking enough about Cason Wallace. We're talking about a second-year player playing 22
I told you he's going to be the
off
4th
bench.
best player on the team
Yes.
next year.
Didn't look scared of the moment at all.
You can make a legitimate argument that he should be starting games in place of Ludor right now. I'm not saying that's what they will do or even what they should do, but Cason has been incredible on both ends of the floor.
He could play all 48 minutes, and I'd be pretty happy.
Also, stat guy here. This was also sent to me from my guy Hank. Dort shoots 9% worse from 3 on the road. Cason shoots 5% better, and Wiggins 6% better from 3 on the road on the season.
Road dogs.
Today, Dort was 2 of 10 from 3. Wiggins was 3 of 6. Wallace was 3 of 3. It held up.
I think Hank's coming for Taylor's job. Taylor's just
I like
freely
that.
handing it over.
That's right.
Ghost of Holgram's Hip says Quesadilla Press. Queso.
Ooh,
Dia.
I like that.
Get it?
Like that.
I like it.
We also have a super from Luke Beal. Justin, will you read that for us?
Not sure if y'all talked about this, but I don't think Joe is going to or can play much the rest of the series. I
Agreed.
think we agree. I
Agreed.
think we agree across
But
the
hey,
board.
next series, if it's the Timberwolves, like
could be
he maybe
totally
can.
Could be.
I also think Game 5, just like we've talked this whole series, although Joe hasn't been great through all of it, role players typically play better at home. So if you want to see a bounce back, you could get one from Isaiah Joe in the next game. I think that free throws, Cheetos, Migos don't matter. Thunder and 6 from our guy Smoot. Love it. What I was going to say is like, we're focusing a lot on the positives because God bless, we need to. But like there's still a lot of negatives from today's game. A lot of the challenges the Thunder have had throughout this entire series still reared its head today. Like make a shot.
Shit.
Please make a shot.
Any shot.
Any shot. Just literally any shot. The
And can
Thunder
we break
still
down
have
this-
to Thunder still have to figure that stuff out if they want to win this series. It starts in Game 5. And Taylor, you shared a stat in our chat earlier today about Game 5s historically for this Thunder team that is not surprising. It makes logical sense, but I thought it was pretty stark when you lay it out. Do you have that?
I do.
Stat in the chat, cat in the hat, Thunder and 6.
Love it. Since relocating, the Thunder are 4-4 in series tied 2-2. In the series in which they won Game 5, they're 4-0. In the series in which they lost Game 5, they're 0-4. Game 5 is pivotal, but like our guy Nick mentioned in our group,
Was that from Hank?
From Hank the Tank.
Was it really?
Actually, technically it was from Chat GPT. Our AI overlords.
So this stat is completely unverified. It might not be true.
Is
he
Hank,
Nice.
He texted
is
me
Hank
that
what you
a
call
little bit ago.
Chat GPT?
Yes.
Thanks, my nickname for
Hank
ChatGPT.
That's my
GPT?
chat bot, my AI bot. Game 5 is pivotal, but it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Someone
right,
fact
hey.
check this man.
Real quick, let's do the one thing the Thunder have to do to win Game 5 on Tuesday night. Then we'll go on to some trivia, and then we'll look league-wide real quick before we get out of here. JD, one thing the Thunder has to do well Tuesday night to win Game 5.
This is probably simple, but don't shoot like shit.
Okay? Justin.
I could say the same, but I'll nuance it a little bit. They have to not settle on offense. They have to make Denver work. They have to find the best shot. Denver's is going to goad them into taking lazy 3-pointers, and they can't let that happen.
Taylor.
Mine's pretty similar to both of your guys, but you have to figure out the zone defense, even outside of just shooting your open shots and making them. You got to be able to break down the zone defense much better and make adjustments.
My key to winning Game 5, you have to continue to play defense at the level you've been playing since Game 2. Game 2, 3, and 4 have been absolute elite defensive performances. Keep that up.
Agreed.
At the end of the day, you can get every wide open shot, and you can't guarantee that it's going to go down, but you can. The one thing that you really can control in the basketball court is what you do defensively and the intensity you play with defensively. Keep that up. Keep that up. That'll lead you to a dub. Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we are going to do trivia. We'll be right back. And we are back. It is time to play some trivia. Trivia.
Let's go.
We got a handful of trivia questions tonight from Rob and from Smoot. Once again, if you don't like the trivia questions, if they're wrong, don't care. Join the Discord, complain to them. Trivia question number 1 from Rob. He says, all 3 questions relate to playoff stats since the 2000 to 2001 season all the way up to now. Okay?
Okay.
I was watching so much basketball in the year 2000.
How
What
old
were you,
in the year
like
2000?
2?
4.
4.
4.
Which team has the most playoff appearances since the 2000 season? You should name an NBA team on this one.
Oh.
Thanks for the pro tip. Pro tip.
I ran out.
You
of
guys
room
know
in
the
my-
Pope's a Celtics, or not a Celtics fan, a Cubs fan?
White Sox.
Villanova, too.
He's a White Sox fan.
Sox.
Oh, I didn't know he was I thought he was a Cubs fan.
Nope.
Do you think he watched the Bulls in the 96 run?
Yes.
Do we think
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Pope? Do we think the Pope has watched The Last Dance?
Oh, yeah, I
Probably.
think so.
Love that.
The Pope has touched the big old bean in Chicago.
All right. So what are your answers?
I'm going to say Lakers.
The
Lakers,
Celtics.
Spurs, Celtics. I like 3 different answers. The answer is the Celtics.
Ooh,
21
well
appearances.
done.
Question
That
2.
was- Celtics and Lakers were the 2 I was debating.
Yeah.
They felt like the easy
Pick
easy
one.
choices.
Make sure you guys have the chat closed, by the way.
Yeah, Taylor.
And chat, keep up with us. Answer the questions. It's fun to see you guys answer the questions. Number 2, Which teams have made the finals the most times? We're looking at one Eastern Conference, one Western Conference team.
Okay.
Which teams have made the conference the most times since 2000, 2001?
The finals or the conference finals?
The finals. Which team has made the finals the most time? We want one team from each conference.
All right.
Two teams, an East team and a West team.
I'm taking the low-hanging fruit. I'm saying Boston and the Lakers.
I went back to my first answer, Celtics and Spurs.
Okay.
The Lakers and the Celtics. I even labeled them West and East.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. The answer, the Lakers
Ooh.
and the Heat.
Ooh.
He's a sneaky good answer.
I'm struggling.
Number 3. Which team has the highest winning percentage in all playoff games since 2000, 2001? Not most games, highest winning percentage. Don't overthink it.
Too late.
Yeah, too late for that, buddy. Okay. Since what year?
2000.
All right.
Let's see it. Golden State, Lakers, Warriors. The answer is Golden State at 65.6%.
Almost wrote that, but because of when it started, I was like, is that too early to bank on the Warriors?
Okay, I got some questions from Smoot. I have not opened this chat until literally just this moment.
Great.
So I'm just going to read. You put it in front of me, I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Ron Burgundy.
Some questions on advanced stats. Parentheses. Ask Justin to say statistics, Holmes.
Statistics, Holmes.
Question 1. The NBA has a stat percentage points difference. It's DIFF percentage sign. Okay.
The diff.
The dude.
Percentage points difference. It is defined as the difference between the normal percentage of a shooter on shots throughout the season and the percentage of shots when the defensive player or team is guarding the shooter.
This is right up my alley. Let's go.
This is like a Taylor question if I've ever heard one.
A good defensive number will be negative because the defensive player holds their opponent to a lower percentage than normal. Okay, you following?
No.
I'm following. I got it.
So it's basically whenever somebody defends another player, does that player shoot above their average or below their average?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Counting players who have played more than garbage time, which Thunder player has the best differential percentage?
Diff. Who's the biggest diff?
So
Right.
in this
I'm torn.
playoffs, who's the
torn.
biggest diff
On the Thunder.
on the Thunder? Who's the diffy boy?
Diffy boy.
Wiggins,
Caruso.
Caruso. The answer, J. Will.
Jay Will.
Minus
Whoa.
19.8.
Okay.
Oh.
Giving Jokic the diff.
All right.
Question 2. How many Thunder players have defended 10 or more shots per game in this round of the playoffs?
How many players?
Yes.
Have defended 10 or more shots?
Have defended 10 or more shots per game. How many players have done it?
It's a good question.
That is a good question.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
son of a bitch.
Oh,
my
sevens
God.
all around.
The answer's 4.
Oh. How's that possible?
You're all incorrect.
Name the 4 players who
Oh,
have
boy.
defended 10 shots per game this series.
My marker's rolling away.
Should we just list them instead of writing them out?
No.
Oh, man.
Coward.
Write down 4 names who have defended 10 or more shots.
I don't know. All right.
All right.
The 4 players who have defended 10 or more shots. Read them out, boys. JD?
Caruso, J-Dub, Dort, Chet. J-Will better not be on there. I'm going to feel like an idiot.
Justin?
I said Dort, Hart, Dub, and Chet.
Ooh, I forgot Dub. I went Caruso, Dort, Hart, and Chet.
The answer is Shai,
Nailed it.
Lou, Chet, and iHeart.
Okay.
Weird.
Hey, keep your names. Don't erase them.
Too late.
Too late.
Oh, I guess you need to erase them. Never mind. I want to know the order of who has the best differential percentage to the worst differential percentage. So who is holding those shooters to a lower percentage than normal, and who is not?
Of that list.
Yes, the list was iHeart, Chet, Shai, Lou. iHeart, Chet, Shai, and Lou. Who has been the best defender as far as holding that shooter to a lower percentage, and who has been the worst? Put them in order.
I'm thinking a lot.
I am too.
All right, instead of you guys reading 4 names, I'm just going to read 4 names, and we're going to see who got it right. The best is Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yes,
Oh,
let's
no.
go.
Minus 10.8. The second, to Taylor's chagrin, Lou Dort with a minus
Ooh.
5.6.
Okay.
Wow.
Next
I had
is
it.
Grin, Taylor.
next is Shai with a minus 3.7.
Oh, I just got those two mixed up.
And last is
Dang it.
Chet with a
Nice.
positive 0.6.
Oh,
I had iHeart, Shai, Lou, Chet. Darn it.
nice.
All right, you guys
That was
want to
good.
take a peek at what our predictions were going into round 2 and how good or bad we have been at those?
Based off the way you teased it, I'm not sure we do.
Yeah,
I-
not sure.
I think we've all kind of sucked at this. So
Agreed.
Love that for us.
I am getting the image pulled up now. Bear with me.
Oh, look at
Bear with
this. Shout out Thunder Chick. For those who are listening but not watching, let it be known that Justin has the neatest handwriting.
Oh,
Tell
That is
that to my
true.
3rd grade teacher,
What was her name?
Mrs. Ackerman. She retired the year after me. Read into
Probably
that
because
what you will.
Probably because of your handwriting.
Can't fix it. I'm out.
I can't do it anymore.
Here it is. So we'll all read our predictions. My second round predictions, I had the Thunder winning in 5 games. That's out the window. Could be 6. I had Minnesota winning in 5 games. Still on the table.
On the table.
I had Boston winning. No, I had Minnesota in 4. I was reading JD's. I had Minnesota in 4. That's not good. I had Cleveland in 5. That's really not good. I had Boston in 5. Not good.
Bad all around for Jacob.
Yeah.
Yep. JD, why don't you tell us yours?
I had the Thunder in 5, which was foolish. Looking back, I mean, hey, look, a few things go the Thunder's way. They could have been there. I had Minnesota in 5, which is still in play, and I still feel pretty good about because Steph might not come back till like Game 6. And what does it look like if he does come back? Then had Cleveland in 6, which that one's Jover. None of us picked it. None of us picked the Pacers. And I had Boston in 5, which that's not happening. What a weird playoffs.
Justin.
Yeah, not great for me either, though I have a little more in play. OKC in 6, that's still alive. Let's manifest that one. Minnesota in 7, maybe. Like you said, probably depends on if and when and how Shai comes back. Over in the East, I had Cleveland in 6, yikes, and Boston in 5, double yikes.
Taylor.
I had OKC in 6, still alive. I had Minnesota in 6, also still alive. Cleveland in 5, not looking great. And Boston in 6, I guess still alive.
Nick took OKC, Minnesota, Cleveland, and Boston all in 6.
That's the most Nick
That's-
prediction of all time.
Absolutely.
Also, for someone in the chat who asked earlier, Nick is out of town currently. That's why he's not here. He's not dead.
Yeah.
Nick went to a farm upstate.
Of mice and men style.
Justin, of the 4 second-round series, which one has been the most surprising?
Probably Cleveland, Indiana, I think. Like, even looking at our predictions, we were pretty aggressive on picking that series. Though both of the Eastern ones, really, but I'll go with Cleveland just because they're absolutely dominating. They're getting dominated tonight by Indiana.
JD, what is not the most surprising series, but the most surprising thing from the second round for you?
Most surprising thing. Before Jonathan says trivia is by far the worst thing you guys do. Thanks, Jonathan. I'll go F myself. I was
Wow.
most surprised by Boston going down 0-2.
Will you do that on cam?
No.
Okay.
Well, on Patreon. If you guys sub to the Patreon.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You got to pay for it.
Taylor, what is the most disappointing thing of the second round?
I mean, taking my bias aside and not talking about how OKC has closed out games, maybe the most disappointing thing would be the injuries, especially to Steph there for the Warriors Minnesota game or series. I think that's obviously turned the tide quite a bit, and it's disappointing we don't see those two teams at full strength.
Very good. I don't have a question for me. I was just making those up on the fly. So.
Wow.
Which series have I enjoyed the most outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder series? Probably the Boston one. That's been the most entertaining. Cleveland's just getting their butts kicked. The Minnesota Golden State series is like if the Thunder series is like watching two blind guys try to throw rocks at each other. The Minnesota series is like two Helen Kellers having a sword fight.
That's nice. Hey, you guys have realized that Anthony Edwards can play like total dog shit and no one bats an eye. That just happens a lot now. I know he's well liked, but
somehow can simultaneously do that and also be considered like a quote unquote leading candidate to be the next face of the league.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I have a question for everyone. When are we going to find out MVP?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has there been an announcement of what's being announced next week?
No, there hasn't.
It's got to be before Game 5, dude. Like it has to.
So.
I thought that until I remembered that the lottery is tomorrow. And
they can't announce it on Tuesday and give him the trophy on Tuesday.
Right.
Hey, speaking of though, we do have to touch on that real quick. NBA lottery happening tomorrow night before the first game, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Thunder, the only team still playing meaningful basketball that have a reason to pay attention.
Yes. So the Thunder get the Philadelphia 76ers lottery pick. If it falls at 7 or worse, there is like a 35% chance that happens.
I like the odds.
The biggest chance for the Sixers pick is pick 7. JD, as we log out of here, and I think we've had a couple of $5 super chats. We have one from Alan McIntosh right here, and we had one from the homie El Sombra Reggio. Justin, will you pull both of those up while Justin, Jiminy Christmas, while JD
third time's a charm.
While JD pulls up Tankathon so we can take a flashback in time and do a spin on the show.
There's too many J's on this podcast.
Dang it, JD.
I'm going to start calling Taylor Jailer.
Jailer.
El Sombra Reggio.
What are you going to call Nick?
No, there's a lot of series to be played,
Rick.
But I feel fairly confident that whoever wins this series probably goes on to win the West and maybe win it all.
I love that, El Sombra Reggio.
Especially if the Pacers knock off the Cavs.
Yeah.
If it's a Pacers-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals, we got to get there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
How pissed off would the league be at a Thunder Pacers final?
That one's probably not saving the ratings discourse.
It's the new CBA.
The Battle of the Midwest. All right, what's our other one?
The other one from our guy, Alan. I'm just so relieved we got the win. I really think if we even play okay, we'd be done with this series. If the shots start going in, it's definitely over. That was the thing with today's game, is like the bar was so low that just shooting average, it felt like a team was on a heater.
Right.
Absolutely. And Justin, you have mentioned a lot. I want to go back to the game just real quick. Role players play better at home and worse on the road. It is very clear that Michael Porter Jr. did not get his shot today.
No, he did not.
Only had 3 points. Other role players. I mean, Denver starters are awesome, dude. Besides Christian Brown, that guy can go back to Nazi Germany.
Aaron Gordon's been playing like a Hall of Famer.
He's been incredible.
Brown's been decent on defense. He's had good stretches.
Aaron Gordon has 16 rebounds today. But you look at other role players for Denver. Peyton Watson, 2 points. Russell Westbrook, 6 points. Julian Strother got some cardio in today, so shout out Julian Strother. Meanwhile, the Thunder role players, You got 10 from Caruso, 11 from Wiggins, 11 from Wallace. They all played great. So
That's exactly how you steal a game on the road. As you
exactly.
put
Now
stats
you
on
come
the board.
home.
Stat guy jumping in again. Shout out Lob Murray, the Athletic. The Nuggets starting lineup of Murray, Brown, Porter Jr., Gordon, Jokic outscored the Thunder 41-26 in the 19 minutes they were on the floor together. All other 5-man lineups for the Nuggets were outscored by 20.
That's a shame.
All right, let's close out the show with a good old Tankathon spin. JD, do we have the tank sounder that we can blast before we do this?
That's a throwback.
I don't think we do.
I don't know if
No.
it made it to the new soundboard.
Yeah, we don't. No, it's not on the new soundboard.
Aw. That one even had Hank Hill on it. That would
It
have been
did. That would have been
perfect.
full
Yeah.
circle.
Loser. You're a loser.
We have funeral music. Yeah, no, we don't
Funeral
have that.
music. Glad we didn't have to play that tonight.
Yeah.
No kidding.
All right.
All right, let's hit
Man.
a sim.
Should I
This
zoom
is
in?
giving me throwback. We haven't done it. We haven't done this in a minute.
This
I like
good?
that I like that Verbo ad. You looking to go on vacation, JD?
In August.
Have you been
All
on
right.
Verbo?
Yep. All right, here we go.
Oh,
darn it.
Philly lands at pick number 6 in this one. Brooklyn gets
Boo.
pick number 1. Do another sim. This is I imagine this is what doing drugs is like.
Yeah.
Philly falls at 6 again. I don't like the outcome. Do it again.
Hey.
Hey,
There it
here
is.
The Thunder get pick 8. So they're
Taylor?
Cooper
8.
Flag going to Toronto in this scenario. That doesn't.
Ooh.
I don't like that.
And who would we
Really?
want
I
at
don't
pick
care
8?
about that at all. Oh, we're taking Derek Queen at 8, buddy.
All right.
I like that.
Give me
I like
Derek
that.
Queen.
Man, that
Long-sleeve
used to
Cooper.
be like. That used to be the highlight of our
every
podcasting.
podcast. Every podcast.
That's bread and butter content right there.
That is. What do we podcast about tonight? 100 Tankathon sims. How many times did the Thunder hit the top 3? Statistical analysis on
That's
the
right.
on the ping pong balls.
That's right.
What live pod were we doing? Was it
You can
the
do statistic analysis on my balls. Play that outro music.
what was the live pod? Was it the lottery reaction live pod we did where we were doing the and we got like 1 or 2 and everybody.
No,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the
Oh,
that
it
was
was
the
Discord
first
watch
Discord
party.
watch
Discord
party
watch
on
party.
the
Yeah.
Patreon.
That was
The
amazing.
Thunder won a close game, and then we hit a Tankathon spin. Everybody went nuts.
Silva, I'm going to try to get out of here quick. Thank you guys for listening to the show. We appreciate you. Shout out to all the new listeners who are jumping in during the playoffs. Hey, we're back here again after Game 5 Tuesday night. It'll be a late one, but we're podcasting win or loss. But hey, we are absolutely manifesting a win Tuesday night. You guys have a great beginning of your week. It's a 3-game series. 2 of them are at home. Let's go make it to the Western Conference Finals. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.